It's Above My Clearance Level by TSK on AO3. Summary: in which Peter's class goes on a field trip to Stark Tower, and no one knows why this kid has such a high clearance. It had only been 30 minutes, but to Peter it seemed like time itself had stopped just to spite him. Tonight was Thursday, one of 2 Tower nights during the week. Tower nights were, as the name suggested, evenings where he'd be picked up by Happy after school and taken to Stark Tower to work on various tech, including his own suit. He'd stay over and be dropped off to Midtown in the morning. One of his fellow interns had texted him about her current project and maybe she'd let him have a look at the... "Mr. Parker," startled Peter into awareness. "Thank you for your kind attention," smiled Mr. Caldwell. Peter smiled back sheepishly. "Class, I have just received a notice," the teacher announced, waving the bunch of A4 sheets in his hand. "Our field trip has been scheduled for next week, and I have permission slips for all of you here. Now, there are rules and regulations, as always, regarding conduct of students as representatives of the school. In addition to those, there are venue-specific rules this time. Everything is outlined in these forms. They will have to be signed by a parent or a guardian and returned to me by Monday." "Where are we going, sir?" asked Sally. Mr. Caldwell looked over bored students and puffed himself up to make the announcement. Peter shivered slightly. "It seems we have been granted permission to go to the Stark Tower." The class didn't seem to share his excitement, although many of them sat up straighter and started whispering among themselves. Peter, on the other hand, sank lower in his seat. Ned looked at him in shock and Peter helplessly shook his head. "Isn't that really unsafe, sir?" ventured Luke. "That whole area is like a major target for all sorts of..." "Shut up, Mendez," scoffed Flash. "Since the Avengers went upstate, it's been fine. What are the rules, Mr. Caldwell?" "Well, there's mainly health and safety regulations, so you can't leave the tour group at any point. If you have a disability, please mention it in the form. Security badges are to be worn at all times. You need to submit a passport-sized photograph for your ID. Phones are not allowed in certain areas. No hacking or stealing because that sets off alarms. And you can only update your social media once you're done with the tour, just in case." The teacher read out to the groans of the class and the bell rang. "It's all written here, guys. Take a form on your way out, and remember, Monday latest." "Hey Parker, guess we're going to see your workplace," called Flash, taking a form. "Can you ask your boyfriend Spider-Man to come by this time?" "Oh, he'll be there," muttered Peter. What was his life? Over dinner the next night, May brought up the field trip. "When I saw the email from your school, I couldn't control myself," she laughed. "What is your life even?" "That's what I thought too," Peter grinned. "I mean, I was really quite worried at first because, but then I realised no one at the tower knows except Happy and Mr. Stark. And not like they're going to drop by. By the way, this is delicious. May?" "I know, isn't it? I got the recipe from Gita. It's not quite like she makes it, but it's good, right?" "Totally. It should go in the book," Peter assured her. "What is it, a korma?" I forgot to ask her." The next Thursday morning, Peter was rushing to make it to the school bus on time. He had to double back because he forgot his ID, and then there had been a dog walker with 3 dogs. So, of course, he had to say hi to them all, and before he knew it, he was running late. "Harrington told me about your reputation, Peter," grinned Mr. Caldwell, who seemed high in spirits. "You're the last one here." "Sorry, sir, there was traffic," replied Peter, rushing into the bus and finding the seat Ned had saved for him. "You walk to school," scoffed MJ from the seat across. Peter just grinned back. "Psst," said a voice behind him. Thinking it was Ned, Peter turned back, but he saw Ned had turned back too, and Flash was smirking at them. "Hey, Peanuts, I'm surprised you showed up. Thought you'd be conducting the tour for us, since you're an intern and all." "Peter's a STEM intern, man," Ned snapped. "Stark Tower has proper guides to conduct tours." "Hey Peter," Cindy called out. "Do you know all the staff there?" "No, not really," Peter replied. "I tend to go there in the evenings, so I don't really know the daytime staff. Plus I stick to my labs, you know." A likely story, scoffed Flash, but was mainly ignored. Some days Peter burned to ask Flash about his dad's car. He only wished he'd had the suit then, if only for recording purposes. It might have helped with the bullying, but mainly the video of Flash nearly pissing himself. As they reached the tower, even the most nervous among the class were hyped up. "Alright class, we cannot halt for more than 2 minutes. Disembark quickly and do not leave any belongings behind." Once they went through the first security checkpoint and were inside the large lobby of Stark Tower, the students were welcomed by a young man named Jack. He pointed out the toilets and gave them 10 minutes to take pictures around the lobby, while he took Mr. Cobwell to sort out the badges. Most students gravitated towards the Iron Man suit display to take pictures. Since they were early, they were one of the first tour groups of the day, and there was barely a line. Peter idly looked around, waiting for Ned to return from the bathroom. MJ was staring at him again. "What?" He fidgeted self-consciously. Of all of his acquaintances, MJ was the one he figured would deduce that he was Spider-Man. "I'm not staring at you. I'm wondering if I should protest against capitalism and market domination by one single corporation." "What are you leaning towards?" Peter asked, curious. "Pepper Potts is the best thing to happen to this company, and maybe I should celebrate the shattering of the glass ceiling." "Yeah, she's amazing," Peter said enthusiastically. "She's honestly superhuman. She handles SI globally and has time to talk to people and manages press and Mr. Stark." He could have gone on, but Jack was calling the students back. "Alright, I hope all of you have gone through the rules for the tour. Those were not guidelines, and they have to be followed at all time. Mr. Watson?" He nodded to Alex. "The tower is fully accessible by wheelchair. Please be with me in the front so you could see without your classmates blocking your view. If you require any assistance, please let me know." He handed Alex a badge and asked for the class to come forward when their names were called out. "Now, these are souvenirs, of course. You don't need to return them, but be warned that once you leave the tower, they will be disabled. So please don't wander off. If the card is used to access the tower later, there will be consequences for you. So don't go selling on eBay," he joked. "Abernathy, Camille." Once he reached P, Jack looked at Peter. "Where is Peter Parker?" Peter raised his hand and came forward. "It says in the system that you're an employee. Do you have your ID?" Peter's cheeks burned. "Yeah, I've got it." "Well, you know the rules, man. Put that on." Jack's easy smile turned into wide eyes and an impressed look as he saw the red and gold colour of Peter's badge. He whistled. "Dude, nice." Peter muttered his thanks and avoided everyone's eyes. When the badges were done being distributed, Jack gestured them all to form a straight line to go through the second security checkpoint. "Okay, so as you can see, the staff entrance is towards the left hand of the reception, and the visitor entrance is towards the right. There is also a separate vendor and service entrance, and of course 2 private entrances for the residents of the tower and VIP guests. Mr. Stark also tends to use the penthouse balcony, or any window large enough to fit the Iron Man suit." He laughed. "Hey Jack, so Peter says he's an intern here," Flash called out with a faux curious smile. "There's like 8,000 people working here, man," Jack answered, "and I just handle the tours. I meet other staff mostly during lunch or something, but an intern under 18? Never seen that. Our security seems to know him though." He shrugged. "Does Peter need to go through the other security?" Mr. Cobwell wondered. "I don't want anyone to leave the group." "Oh no, he can go either way," Jack assured him. Cindy raised her hand. "Why were you so impressed with Peter's badge?" "Yeah, I'll get right to that in my introduction. Let's just get through security." Jack smiled, looking a bit impatient. He demonstrated how the scanners worked and waited on the other side. and burly men and women confiscated drones, spyware, EMPs, hidden cameras, and liquids that students had brought along. When Peter walked through with his bag, a blue alert flashed on the panel. The security personnel curiously asked him to see his badge, and waved him through without a fuss, sharing a look with Jack, who shrugged, equally confused. Despite being used to this, Peter breathed easily. Web fluid would have been hard to explain. Once they were all through security, Jack gestured towards the table with water and juice bottles and told them to help themselves. Let's begin our tour with some basic information about Stark Tower. Jack began, holding his own water bottle in hand. The tower was the brainchild of our CEO, Pepper Potts, and is chiefly designed by her and our owner, Tony Stark. Opened in 2012, Stark Tower completely runs on arc reactor energy and is not attached to the city's power grid. It was briefly sold earlier this year, but the deal was cancelled and Stark Tower is now the host to the New York arm of Stark Industries. Miss Potts and Mr. Stark has moved to the city full-time, but for security reasons do not always stay here. The Avengers HQ has been relocated upstate. Peter had never been on one of these tours, and was surprised to learn these things. Miss Potts designed the tower. How was she a real person? After the Chitauri attack in 2012, and then the reveal of Hydra, security has been the primary concern for Mr. Stark. The tower is now reinforced with multiple layers of material that I cannot disclose, which makes it near indestructibly, eerily, and eternally. The airspace within 3 miles is monitored to identify potential airborne threats, and security has been beefed up eternally to guard all staff and visitors. No one is allowed entry without a background check, and that includes you guys. Now, I think the girl asked there about IDs. Jack nodded to Cindy. So, as you can see, you all have white badges. That means visitor. Tours for the general public were closed 2 years ago, so now it's only educational tours, by the way. I, myself, have a purple badge, which means general staff. White badge holders have to be escorted by purple badges or higher. So if I bring my boyfriend to visit, he cannot wander off at any point. There's a lot of different colours for specialised staff, like green for biotech staff, or cardinal red, dark red, he explained at their blank looks, and grey for engineering. Can anyone guess why? Colours of MIT, Abraham called out. Correct, Jack exclaimed, delighted. Not many people guess that. I always hear Harvard. He rolled his eyes. So yeah, lots of security levels. Security has black badges. And what else? Oh, yeah, service staff has yellow. Anyway, so Mr. Parker here, he pointed at a dismayed Peter, has one of the elusive badges. He's only the second one I've seen, honestly. Red is for close personal staff to either Mr. Stark or Miss Potts, such as managers, PR agents, lawyers, primary assistants, etc. And gold is for all access. This guy here can go anywhere within the tower. The class all looked at Peter in awe, including Ned, who already knew this. Peter noticed Flash was suspiciously quiet and was avoiding his eye. Why do you have that clearance, Peter? Asked Alex. I can't say, Peter winced. Oh yeah, man. I don't think I have the clearance to even ask, so I didn't. Jack deflected the class's attention. What colours do the Avengers have? Asked Betty. Yeah, we get this question a lot, but no one seems to know the answer to this, Jack shrugged. They take the private entrance, so their security is handled by the building's AI. Friday. This news excited everyone, and Jack had to clap his hands to get silence again. Yes, there's an AI. Yes, she has eyes and ears everywhere. Everyone say hi to Friday. The class looked around, mostly at the ceiling, calling out greetings. Hello, Midtown School of Science and Technology, chirped Friday. Hope you enjoy the tour. We're excited to have you. After the excitement had died down a bit, Jack resumed walking. "Who's the other person?" Sally asked. "With the red and gold ID," she clarified at Jack's confused look. "Oh right, that's Miss Potts' personal assistant, Jamila. She's being trained to take over a high position, I'm sure. But she basically tails Miss Potts and can cover for her in cases of emergencies. She's got her own underlings as well. And she's a badass, a goddess among men. But yeah, sorry, back to the tour." Peter made sure to stick close to Mr. Cobwell, who deflected noisy classmates with a look. Jack continued leading them through the museum on the first level, which was the history of SI and the company's goals and side ventures. Peter tried to focus, but this stuff was really boring. The business-minded students, however, were taking notes and asking insightful questions about the growth and sustainability. He made his way towards the back and checked his text messages. "So, Parker," Flash came up to Peter, trying to look nonchalant. "How did you score this gig?" "What do you mean?" Peter asked. "Like, are you his secret love child or something? We all know Stark has slept around." "I won't blame your mum." "Hey, I'm talking to you," Flash hissed as Peter walked away furious. After 30 minutes of the first floor and another 30 of the second, which housed the Avengers display, they took the elevator to one of the more exciting floors. Jack talking the whole way. Peter did not envy the guy. He couldn't imagine talking so much. So, floors 3 through 40 are offices. And yes, they're mega boring, but they're necessary and valued. Floor 41 through 60 are labs, and that's where we're going, Jack announced to the cheers of the class. "Yes, so we're headed to 50, which is robotics. Here we are. Please follow me and remember to scan your badges." He led them through a hallway to a closed lab with R3 on the door and pressed a button. Peter was thrilled. He spent quite a bit of time in R3 and was excited to show off a bit for Ned and MJ. "My colleague Liam will take over for me now. I'll see you guys in a bit. Enjoy." Jack waved and handed them over to a handsome olive-skinned man in his 30s. Peter could see some of the girls straighten up and fix their hair. "Hello, Midtown," Liam welcomed them. The lab had been changed a bit in order to accommodate the class. There were comfy seats arranged around a hollow table, and at the entrance was a large table to keep cell phones and bottles. "Please scan your badge, hand over your phones and bottles to the kind bot, and find a seat. Please don't touch anything." Peter was the last to enter, and Liam hugged him warmly. "Are you staying back after the tour?" he asked. "We've got some fun planned. Boss might come by too." "Mr. Stark's back?" Peter asked, thrilled. Tony had been negotiating with the UN for what seemed like ages. He had managed to get pardons for most of the rogue Avengers. This time he had been advocating for Captain Rogers and Bucky Barnes to be allowed to return and a pardon to be granted to both. Peter knew how much these talks drained Mr. Stark, who usually hid somewhere for a few days after each one. "Yeah," Liam replied, a bit quieter. "The news isn't out yet, but according to Jamelia, they did it." "What? Oh my god." Peter burst out, all but jumping on Liam, who was just as excited, and hugged him back laughing. "Oh my god, can you believe..." Mr. Cobwell cleared his throat. Peter looked around to see the class was staring. He blushed and rushed to take a seat while Liam went to the other side. With a swipe of his hand, Liam activated the hollow table. The class oohed. For 15 minutes, Peter enthralled Peter's class with schematics, designs, and photographs of the simpler inventions at SI. This time, the entire cohort was engaged, asking Liam about other work in robotics and his own projects. How could one be part of the company, and where was the most need in the field? After half an hour's discussion on robotics, someone finally asked about Peter and his contributions. "I figured someone would ask, but I'm afraid most of what Peter does in this building is confidential and above my clearance level. Liam admitted, pointing at his card with a cardinal red, grey and blue stripes. He's usually at the lab on 81 and we see him maybe once every 2 weeks. I can tell you what he does here, if he's cool with it. Once again, Peter had the attention of the whole class as they turned in unison to look at him. He nodded at Liam, too embarrassed to say anything. The class turned back towards Liam as he showed them some of Peter's recreational work, such as Toasty, the communal toaster that now remembered everyone's preferred toast choice. Rico, the bot that fed you when you were in the zone and couldn't be bothered. And Squeezy, the cuddly bot that was basically a dog but didn't need to be taken care of. The class clapped and some of them even patted Peter on the back as they saw a video demonstration. Okay, 15 minutes to have a look around and off to the cafeteria, Mr. Cobwell announced. Peter rushed Ned to his usual work area where Squeezy was in sleep mode and charging. At Peter's tap, the bot activated. They spent a few minutes playing with him before the rest of the class noticed and rushed forward to play. I think we can program him to recognise people without a need for a badge, Ned suggested, watching the bot. Yeah, I can't figure out how to do that, and there's unwritten rules about messing with others' work here, so no one else has done it either, Peter admitted. Logging into his account, Peter handed over the code file to Ned and walked over to Liam. So, what's going to happen? Are they coming here? Oh my god, are they coming here? Will they be here? Calm down, Peter, Liam grinned, but he was excited too. I have no idea. Jamila didn't give me much more than that. But you're her boyfriend. Get some more info. Hey, you know Boss personally, Liam accused. Why don't you ask him? I can't just ask. And I just can't ask either. A bell dinged somewhere in the lab and Liam paused to consider what it could be for. Peter could hear Luke muttering, "This is it. We're gonna die. It was an alarm," and tuned him out. Right, Liam remembered. Time for you lot to go to one of the cafeterias for some brunch. Now, remember, food's free, so go wild. Try the croissants. They're my favourite. Peter's class was cheerfully ushered out back towards the elevators, where Jack met them again. They were led to 45, which housed the nearest cafeteria. Spanning half the floor, the class was given 40 minutes to grab some food and use the toilets. Peter took his time to talk to Mr. Cobwell, who was in the line for crepes. Mr. Cobwell, is it okay if I stay back here after the tour, or are we doing anything back at school? At his teacher's hesitant look, he hurried to say, Only I come here after school on Thursdays anyway, and it's quite a waste of time. I can call my aunt if you need her permission. I don't mind, Peter, Mr. Cobwell said with a sad smile, but it's not up to me. There's your safety to consider, and I don't know any of these people. You're a minor, and I can't leave you here. But I come here every week, Peter protested. You know my internship is real. Like I said, Peter, I don't mind, but I am responsible for your safety while you're here. How can I verify anyone's identity here? Yeah, Peter was forced to agree. Yeah, you're right. Thanks anyway, sir. He walked back to Ned, who looked at him hopefully. Peter shook his head. Young Peter, came a call from, well, everywhere, all at once, which could only mean one person. Mr. Thor, exclaimed Peter, surprised. I didn't know you were here. Oof, he muttered as Thor enthusiastically patted him on the shoulder. Well, I wasn't, but a wizard made a portal, and now here I am, said Thor jovially. I asked Friday if anyone was here, but everyone seemed to have gone missing. But then she said you were here, so... Right, great, Peter nodded. There was silence as both Peter and Thor tried to think of something to say. Peter could hear camera phone shutters and a couple of mumbled, awkward comments. The SI staff that was around was staring too, since the 45th floor never saw any Avengers action, being at least 5 cafeterias away from the former Avengers residence floors. Thor looked around and beamed at the children. Are these your friends? Oh, yeah, sorry. I'm on a field trip in my class. It's like sightseeing, Peter explained as Thor nodded sagely. This is my friend Ned, and this is MJ. Hello, Ned and MJ, Thor waved. Whoa, was all Ned could say, and even MJ seemed a bit starstruck. Mr. Stark has arrived, came Friday's voice from the nearest speaker. The news had a sudden effect on the staff, who rushed to finish their food and get back to work. Well then, young Peter, I shall take your leave, Thor smiled. He went up to a food counter where a lady silently handed him a massive tray of food. He held it single-handedly and waved at the occupants of the floor with a grin. Bye, see you Thor. Bye, Mr. Thor, chimed everyone enthusiastically. As soon as the elevator doors shut, there was a burst of noise as everyone shrieked and fawned over the hottest Avenger. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, chanted Ned, pulling Peter's arm so hard it hurt. The Thor knows my name. He said my name, and he said, hello, Ned. And I have to call my mum. She will die. I love you so much, Peter. You're the best. Laughing, Peter decided to text May an update too. 11:40. Peter. Thor was here. He said hello to me, and everyone is so hyped. I think he broke Ned. Mr. Stark is here, by the way. I think he did it. 11:41. May. Nice. I might drop in if he's still around. Did what? Oh wait, did he really do it? OMG. 11:42. Peter. Yes, I was gonna ask you to call the school to tell them to let me stay here after, but Mr. C says no. 11:42. May. How come? 11:43. Peter. Says he can't verify these people, and so it's not safe, etc. 11:44. May. He's right. I'll try something. Hang on. 11:45. What? May? May what? May? After brunch, they were herded to another lab, this time on 42. They had a look at the more commercial technology, like Stark phones and tablets, and were allowed to fiddle with older prototypes. A lady named Alison gave them worksheets to crack, and then handed over information packets on Stark internships. Most people think there's only STEM internships here, but really there's all kinds, explained Alison. Marketing, business, PR, management of different kinds, and so on. Hey, Miss Allison, piped up Flash. The class groaned. Peter could only sign in anticipation. Yes? Allison asked, bemused at the response of the class. How would a 15-year-old get an internship opportunity? Flash asked, with a slightly maniacal look in his eye. Well, internships are for college students only, mused Allison. So maybe a prodigy who was studying at university might get one, but that's quite rare, honestly. Those tend to prefer academia over practical applications. So how did Peter, raise your hand, Parker, get his internship? Peter could seriously kill Flash, because now the rest of the class had started to look interested as well. No one doubted his claim, but they all wanted more information. And by the look of it, Alison was just as clueless. I don't, she stammered. She looked at Peter's badge and was even more flustered. Young man, she started, and Peter could see his life flashing before his eyes. Access restricted, came Friday's voice over the speakers. You are not authorized to question Mr. Parker. Sorry, Friday, called out Alison, laughing nervously, looking sideways at Peter. I can't help you, young man, she said to Flash. This is above my level. Peter could feel the burning curiosity of his class. At this point, even Mr. Caldwell had forgotten himself and was staring at Peter. As the tour was winding up, it was nearing 2:30. Jack handed them all personalised bags with SI goodies, which included T-shirts, an arc reactor-shaped lamp, Stark phone covers, and a really cool travel mug that showed War Machine if the liquid inside was cold and Iron Man if the contents were hot. You may use the washrooms before you leave. I know it's a while to get back to your school. Please don't leave any of your belongings behind. I hope you've all had a good time on today's tour, Jack said with a big smile. Enjoy the rest of your day. Peter's class clapped for Jack as Mr. Cobwell gave him his thanks. As they were about to head outside the tower to wait for their bus, one of the elevators opened and out came Mr. Stark, talking rapid fire to two staff members who were running to keep up with him. As the class looked at Tony Stark in all his glory, I thought he'd be taller, Betty whispered to Justin. Mr. Stark walked right up to the group. Peter, we're having a party. Where are you going? Tony asked him. He held his hand up in a gesture to his minions, who immediately backed up to give Mr. Stark space. Hi, Mr. Stark, Peter replied nervously. Yes, hi, how's your tour, etc. Party, where are we at? Said Tony, looking at Peter's classmates and nodding at Ned. You too, Ned, come in. Ned squealed and looked beseechingly at Peter. Well, we'll have to go back to the school and come back, for safety reasons. You're safe with me, I'm Iron Man, replied Tony dismissively. You, teacher, he addressed Mr. Cobwell. You're cool with it, right? Yes, Dr. Stark, stammered Mr. Cobwell, starstruck. It was more that I didn't know anyone, but you, he drifted off. I like you, teacher. Mr. Stark smiled widely. Not many people remember my doctorates. Come here. Where's your phone? He took Mr. Cobwell's phone and took a selfie with the teacher, who looked about ready to faint. Class photo, Mr. Stark suggested, snapping his fingers at his minions, one of whom ran ahead with a phone while the other hurriedly arranged Peter's class so that they'd all be visible in the photo. Once multiple photos had been taken, now make a silly face, Mr. Stark had called out to the students' delight. Mr. Stark gave the class a big wave and took Peter's elbow, ushering him to an unmarked elevator. Peter grabbed Ned's hand and pulled him along, both calling out thanks and a farewell to their teacher. The minions got off on floor 30, which said legal when Peter peeked out. Hey, Mr. Stark, this is so nice of you. You didn't have to come all the way. We could have come back. It's not a bother. And how did you even know we were there? Did Friday tell you? Peter rambled. You look so tired. Wow. You just came back, right? Are you jet-lagged? You should nap. We'll be fine. I'll take Ned to the game room. Kid, Tony interrupted, suddenly looking exhausted as he shooed them out of the elevator on floor 85. I was about to nap. Your aunt called me and made me come get you. It's fine. He waved off Peter's guilty apology. I'm happy to do it, but you're right. I need a nap before the party. Go play. As the doors closed, Peter and Ned shared an incredulous look. Your life, dude, gushed Ned. My life, dude, Peter agreed. Well, that's the end. Just want to say that at the minute I'm a bit obsessed with Peter Parker's field trip to Stark Industries. I have a few more saved. One of them is different though, so it's not really a field trip. You'll know when that one is. And then I promise I'm going to move on to a different type of Marvel fanfic then. I just also wanted to say, I hope you enjoyed. Sorry this took so long to get out. I've had no time to film this one. And now that all my house people that live with me are gone out and I'm on my own, I've been able to get the rest of it done. I know I'm not going to be able to start filming until about Monday because I'm at my dad's this weekend, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed. I am tired right now. It is about 8:32 in the night, and I don't really have a good sleep schedule. So it's more of I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. Just gonna leave it there. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Bye.